Exercise number 1. Pelvic tilt into bridge. Tips. Tip number 1. Lay down at the floor with flat surface. Tip number 2. Uplift your knee and close your feet to your butt. Tip number 3. Uplift your butt with full stretching. Tip number 4. Repeat the process 3 times. Exercise number 2. BODYWEIGHT full squat with overhead press. Tips. Tip number 1. Start by tilting the pelvis back. Tip number 2. Maintain a neutral spine. Tip number 3. Your heels shouldn't come off the floor. Tip number 4. Don't hold your breath. Keep your abs engaged. Exercise number 3. High knee star tap. Tips. Tip number 1. Stand with your feet with upright of your hands on flat surface. Tip number 2. Touch your hand with knee that is opposite to your hand. Tip number 3. Do this to improve your abdominal shape. Tip number 4. Repeat this for better results. Exercise number 4. Push-up plus. Tips. Tip number 1. Keep your shoulders down. Tip number 2. Keep your abs and glutes engaged. Tip number 3. Open your chest as you inhale. Tip number 4. Don't arch your back. Exercise number 5. Seal push-up. Tips. Tip number 1. Keep your shoulders down. Tip number 2. Keep your abs and glutes engaged. Tip number 3. Open your chest as you inhale. Tip number 4. Don't arch your back. Exercise number 6. Close knee push-up. Tips. Tip number 1. Starting position, a high plank on your knees, palms are under the shoulders. Distribute your body weight on your palms and knees. Tip number 2. Stretch forward with your crown. Abs are contracted. Tip number 3. Inhale, bend your elbows, point them back. Lower your torso down until your chest touches. Exercise number 7. Superman pull-up. Tip number 1. Starting position, lying down on your stomach, legs together, arms extended forward. TO number 2. Exhale, lift your upper body while bending your arms and pulling your elbows towards your waist, simulating pull-ups. Tip number 3. Inhale, gently lower the body to the floor and stretch your arms forward, returning to the starting position. Exercise number 8. T-twist knee drive. Tip number 1. Starting position, stand with your feet hip width apart and arms extended straight in front of you. Tip number 2. Inhale, lift your right knee toward your chest while simultaneously twisting your torso to the right, bringing your left elbow toward your knee. Tip number 3. On an exhale, return to the start. Exercise number 10. Knee touch crunch. Tips. Tip number 1. Perform the movement by contracting the abdominal muscles. Tip number 2. Don't hold your breath. Tip number 3. Don't relax the abs in the starting position. Tip number 4. Keep your abs engaged as much as possible. Exercise number 10. Plank leg lift. Tip number 1. Starting position, low plank, forearms parallel to each other, stretch your body with your heels. Tip number 2. The head, shoulders, pelvis, and heels should be in line, abs tight. Tip number 3. On the exhale, lift your straight right leg up. Tip number 4. On the